Hi, I'm Jill Homan and Managing Director at Pinnacle Partners, and I'm coming to you right after the Yellow Brick Road Conference in Salt Lake City, where we talked about Opportunity Zone 2.0, what it might look like in the near future. And just to share a few thoughts on what it might look like in the near future. And first is, I think there is industry is really coalescing around this idea of permanence. And not to say that it would happen in the near future, but I would say the industry is really coalescing around the importance of permanence for the OZ 2.0. And whether that's permanence with a rolling 10-year period or permanence where you have fixed dates in time, so 10-year windows in which people can invest. But it's this idea of permanence is something that is critically important for Opportunity Zones 2.0. Secondly, wanted to talk also about this idea of including non-capital gain dollars. And that's another important priority. And it was a topic that came up a lot at the conference of Opportunity Zones, as you know, currently is a tax benefit that is only for when investors harvest a capital gain. So you might sell Apple stock, you might sell your home, you might sell Bitcoin, and you take that capital gain and you make an opportunity zone investment. But if we're really truly interested in trying to impact these low-income neighborhoods, why are we excluding really a majority of the capital which is available, which was non-capital gain dollars? So that is another key provision that we talked about at this conference is including non-capital gain dollars in addition to capital gain dollars, which is currently Opportunity Zones 1.0. The other key provisions that we talked about are making Opportunity Zones work better in rural communities. And now this idea of working better in rural communities is a priority of the Trump administration, priority of Secretary Rollins in agriculture, a priority also the House Ways and Means Chairman Jason Smith. It's a priority for him. He had opportunity zone legislation to really expand opportunity zones. An opportunity zone bill that he introduced several Congresses ago to expand opportunity zones in rural communities. And that provision, that specific bill did not become law. Just the concept is, how can we make opportunity zones work better in rural communities? And some ways that we can think about it, one could be plussing up the benefits, increasing it in rural communities. We could expand and enable fund of funds, so one fund to invest in another fund. Really, let's make aggregating capital easier. We could lower the substantial improvement requirement in rural communities so that we can make it work better. And I think overall, if we can simplify compliance, just make it easier for small businessmen and women, those with operating businesses to comply with the tax provisions, I think would go a long way, both with helping operating businesses as well as helping those businesses in rural communities. And then another key provision is around housing. We are at a really a point in this country with having millions and millions of homes that were undersupplied. And so opportunity zones can be one part of the solution in around quality workforce and or affordable housing. So both lowercase and uppercase affordable housing, meaning both regulated, unregulated, affordable housing. And there's ways that I think we can make opportunity zones fit better for affordable housing. We can do provisions such as if a developer or sponsor were to build affordable housing, it would qualify as an original use provision. So meaning let's make affordable housing a way that building affordable housing in opportunity zones a way for an investor to receive the tax benefits. And that's just one example. We can make affordable housing fit or opportunity zones fit better with low-income housing tax credits. That's another example. But this having opportunity zones and thinking about it as one part of the housing solution is really, I think, a key priority of this administration around housing. And we have our terrific HUD Secretary, Scott Turner, who was the former executive director for the White House Council, the White House Opportunity and Revitalization Council. So really the council that was stood up as part of the Opportunity Zone executive order in the previous Trump administration. He ran that council, and subsequently he's now our HUD secretary, and so he truly understands opportunity zones. He understands the importance of housing and quality housing, workforce housing, and affordable housing. So I think we have a key ally in the HUD administration running HUD that can help us address housing and utilizing opportunity zones to be part of the solution for our housing crisis. Some other priorities that came up had to do also with transparency and reporting. I think most of us in the opportunity zone industry expect and are anticipating there to be more provisions around reporting. I think it's a balance where there can be reporting such that the policymakers have some important information coming out about where investments are taking place, more information, more specific information, and also how these investments are impacting the communities. So I think there can be enough information such that policymakers can retool and improve opportunity zones without it being too onerous. And so if we think about things that really being on the real estate side, provisions that real estate developers already would know, which is, you can talk to your general contractor about how many people are hired as part of this project. You know the size of the project, and so you know that just direct costs associated with the size of the project. So those types of aspects aren't onerous, but it would be very, very helpful for policymakers to really have that information. As we think about opportunity zones in the future, I mentioned permanence, that kind of reporting information would be really, really critical. And I mentioned previously about operating businesses, but this isn't just an investment in real estate. It's also to really grow jobs and making sure it works for operating businesses, but also having compliance be simplified would be very beneficial and would help operating businesses. Now let's think about the timing. We're here mid-April, tax day, which is very appropriate for opportunity zones when we talk about deferring capital gain taxes and getting these series of tax benefits. And the reason I leaned into opportunity zones is I think this is a really once in a lifetime series of tax benefits that investors can get, as well as doing some good in these neighborhoods. But if we get this extension, maybe it'll be twice or three times in a lifetime. But my point is that we're sitting here mid-April, and there's a lot of conversation around Opportunity Zones 2.0, just like what we were talking about at the conference. And what's happening right now with policymakers in the House and in the Senate is they're giving significant consideration to the provisions in a bill and the costs associated with that. And one of the, in opportunity zones will be given a cost, and a cost will be determined for it. And as we move forward, is what I'm hearing is that there could be bill text as early as May. And that's when we could actually see what an Opportunity Zones 2.0 would look like. So I think we have really key folks in the administration that are supportive of Opportunity Zones. I mentioned the HUD secretary, but we have just really key folks in the administration that are supportive of Opportunity Zones. We have key allies in the House and the Senate. I mentioned Chairman Jason Smith. We also have Senator Tim Scott, who was the co-author of the original Opportunity Zone legislation. So we have key allies in the administration. We have key allies in the House and the Senate. We have bill text that could come out as early as May. And we have an industry that's really coalescing on some key concepts for an Opportunity Zones 2.0. And whether or not these concepts are included in 2.0 or whether we get a 1.0 again, so meaning they take the current Opportunity Zone legislation and they do it again. In either event, I think it's really a terrific time to be here in the industry. I think Opportunity Zones is really bringing capital into these low-income communities. And the Joint Committee on Taxation reported in 2022, as of 2022, that 85 billion had been invested using this tax incentive, and it's only grown in the 2 to 3 years subsequently. So I think stay tuned. I look forward to providing updates and also hearing from you on what you're hearing about an Opportunity Zone 2.0, about a tax bill, and also would welcome hearing about the projects that you're working on. So thank you for letting me share this update, and I look forward to being in touch and seeing how this all moves forward.